Okay, so obviously the title of this video is an exaggeration, but I had to get you to watch somehow. Now that you're here, I have a question. How do you show someone you really love them? Flowers? No. Candy? No. Music? I know you're new here, but the answer's always going to be music. Speaking of music, Caroline, it's not your cue yet. That's irrelevant. They won't hear the song. The highest summertime that I idealized, I thought I had it right, I thought wrong. But then you arrived, a ray of sunshine that cleared my mind. Now I know what I want. Great!
No.
Bye now! I still have the rest of the song left.
I can't touch you, but I will shove you out of the frame. Bye.
I'll be back. Great! Now that she's gone, we can talk about the verse. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yay! So for me, a verse is a place in the song where I can really get into the details of whatever story I'm telling. And for a first verse specifically, obviously it helps to know what your chorus is going to be about. And for this song, I knew that the chorus was going to be about falling in love and getting swept off your feet. So in order for the listener, you, to understand what the chorus is going to be about, I thought the first verse should be a sort of context verse. So the purpose of the first verse is to, drum roll, provide, say it with me, context! Which makes the main emotion of this song, that feeling of, how did this happen so quickly and feel so right, make more sense. So this verse is really just explaining, hey, I've tried to make some wrong things right, and once I stopped making the wrong thing right, I got the right thing. And another thing I try to do in songwriting is match the feeling of the lyric with the melody. So, for example, the melody of these first three lines is the same, but then when it gets to the shift of the first half of the verse, the pitch goes down. And I think it's sort of like getting out the high of summertime and coming down to reality, which is really cool. So then, in the second half, I compare this person to a ray of sunshine. Not only for their warm and bright and fun presence in my life, but also to convey that feeling of clarity. Like shining a light on something, and instead of being confused about it or trying to make it something that it's not, your mind is clear. And you can see that this person and this feeling is something that's right. It's not something that needs to be overthought or framed a different way. Which was, for me, extremely refreshing. And it's also cool because I mentioned summertime in the first verse, like when I got it wrong. And so it's like, I tried to romanticize something, and then once I stopped, that's when the real song came out. Which I think is cool, and a fun way to tell a complicated story quickly. And although this verse doesn't seem especially genius or inventive or anything, I think great writing is being able to take a common sentiment and write it in a more interesting way than you've heard before. Because we all experience similar things and similar feelings, and consequently write about similar things and feelings. And so I think as a writer, all you can expect of yourself is to write something common in an uncommon way, which I think I achieved. I really like this verse, and I hope you did too. So, Caroline, you talked enough. They're bored, and they want to hear the pre-chorus. Right? Well, I was gonna... No. All the stars are finally aligned. My car door, my wedding hand this time. I finally got it right. You're making me... Whoa, that's enough. Well, I wanted them to hear the transition between the pre and the chorus. Caroline, that's for Friday. Oh. And she wants to be a pop star. That's funny. Now, the pre. So, for these first two lines, I love some good space imagery. If I can work in stars, galaxies, constellations, anything like that, believe me, I definitely will. So I love to be able to use space imagery in these first two lines to convey that feeling of everything suddenly falling into place. Like, you don't have to force anything, because being with this person feels so, meant to be. Sort of like this person is happening to you instead of you trying to make them happen to you. If that makes sense. Oh my god, I just hit the thing. Restart. And also, align is a cool word for rhyming, so it works out. So then, for these lines, that's the wrong color. These lines, card and game imagery is another thing I really like to use. It kind of makes me feel like a poker master. Like, yeah, I play cards. Like, what about it? But to me, these lines kind of paint cards as like your decisions in life. So like the person I've chosen now, I know is a winning hand. So I don't have to think about playing the cards because I know they're gonna win. Like I know I'm making the right decision. As opposed to having a losing hand and knowing it's probably not gonna end up well when you play the cards. So I thought it was really cool to be able to use space and playing cards as sort of a vehicle to further explain the story before we get to the chorus. So that means, drum roll, our second fill in the blank, or a device you can always count on is, say it with me, imagery, yay! And then obviously the last line, okay Caroline, they get it. You're making me stupid. Go ahead and play the whole song, why don't you? And ruin the mysteriousness! I'm just giving the people what they want. Just go, please. Okay, now that she's gone, we can get to the chorus. We would have gotten here sooner if it wasn't for her constantly interrupting. So, since the verse and the pre already have a lot of story and are on the wordier side, going into the chorus, I knew that I wanted the chorus to have some more drawn out notes, so that way it really stuck out against all the other elements of the song. And typically, I try to make the chorus the most simple part of the song since it's the part that's repeated the most. So, these first 4 lines finally address the point of the song and the title. So, drum roll. This song is called Stupid. Yay! Title I think is really fun because you read stupid and you're like, stupid? Why do you have a song called Stupid? And it's a little jarring at first, which is actually what I try to do with titles. I try to pick a title that's a little confusing at first. Because in the sea of songs that we have access to, it's important to understand the significance of a title because it not only summarizes your song, but can serve as a little mini hook to get the listener interested. Because for me, if I were to see a song called Stupid, I would immediately be like, what's that about? And I want to play it, and I want to hear it and find out. And really, I see this as the chorus, and this as the post-chorus. Because the chorus is where the main melody is introduced, and the post-chorus has almost the same melody, just with a little twist, and that's typically what I think of a post-chorus as. So for these lyrics, I was trying to think of examples that could illustrate this like childish, maybe a little naive, like innocent type of love. Because the idea I'm really getting at in this song is that when you tried so hard to make the wrong thing right, and then the right thing comes around, falling in love is suddenly so simple that you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just gotten stupid. You're not thinking, well, what do I really feel? Or is this who I should be with? Because you're totally and finally at peace. So you just kind of allow yourself to act a little dumb, like grinning all the time and skipping around the hallways, because you finally found a love so right that not even a single piece of you is held down by worry. So again, the idea of feeling high or weightless, I try to call back to you with the idea of skipping around. And then the post obviously has the main hook, which I think is so sweet in this song because when I sing Into You, it's almost a little whisper, like it's more breathier, you know? Which is cool because it also kind of hints at that idea of this is really new, so I'm kind of scared to say it, but I really am quickly falling for you. Which is so cute. Hey, you're forgetting about this part. I'm hitting you. Well, I'm a little sort of totally into you. All right. Update, please. This is a little flourish that I add to the end of the chorus rhymes that I do at the end of the song. And it's very simple, but it adds variety to the chorus, which is nice because you hear it so many times. So I like to change it up when I can. And it just reinforces that idea that you don't want to come on too strong, but you really are starting to like this person. And it's cool because the cadence of these lyrics, like rambling through little sort of totally, reflects that feeling of, wanting to soften the intensity of your statement a little bit. So you cushion it with little and sort of to hopefully not scare this person off. That's all I'm analyzing today. If you liked anything you heard, come back Friday and you can hear the full song transitions and all. I hope you enjoyed. Love you. See you Friday.